Hello, Celtic supporters. What a moment to gather again and dive into everything happening around the club, because these past days have been the kind that test patience, spark debate, and remind us of how unpredictable football can be. Every time it feels like things are settling, something novo aparece para virar tudo de cabeça para baixo. And that is exactly what we are living right now with the managerial situation. One day, everyone is convinced the appointment is a matter of hours, and on the very next, the entire discussion swings in another direction, leaving folk wondering if the process is moving ahead or if we are stuck in one of those classic Celtic limbos where no one quite knows what is truly going on behind the scenes. Still, even with all the uncertainty, there's a strange sense of calm because Martin O'Neill is there holding the reins for a wee bit longer. And having someone with his presence guiding the squad has helped keep supporters steady through what could have been a chaotic transitional period. The update from the club, brief as it was, set off plenty of talk. It felt like the sort of message Celtic release when they want to say something without really saying anything at all. And yet it was enough to spark the usual wave of theories. Some are convinced it means talks with the likely candidate have hit a difficult patch. Others feel it simply points to timing issues, paperwork, or a clause that needs to run its course before things can be finalized. And then there are those who believe the club might prefer introducing a new manager during a stretch of home matches rather than chucking him straight into a run of tricky away fixtures. Whether that is true or not, no one can say for certain, but it does fit the way some people look at the current calendar. Celtic Park gives a new boss a proper stage, a proper welcome, and starting off in front of a full house might help settle nerves and set the tone. Even so, something about this situation still feels like the appointment is coming. It just needs a little more time. Supporters have been playing the guessing game for days now, trying to read between the lines, trying to figure out if every silence means progress or the opposite. But the reality is that the club's communication style rarely offers clarity. That is why having someone like O'Neill covering the team in the meantime feels like a relief. His interview the other day was the kind of thing that reminds folk why he is so admired. Speaking about the international matches, praising performances, keeping the mood light but steady, he brings a level of confidence the team needs during a phase like this. And after the whirlwind fortnight he had when he first returned to help out, he truly seems settled and ready to guide the group through whatever lies ahead until the next step is finally taken. There is also the reality that Brendan Rodgers' exit did not come at the most comfortable moment, leaving the club scrambling a bit to stabilize things, and O'Neill stepping in so quickly, bringing structure back to training sessions and offering the players a familiar sense of direction has been vital. Imagine facing this stretch without that sort of leadership. With 3 away matches lined up and European commitments adding extra weight, any lack of direction could have been far more disruptive. Instead, even with all the questions surrounding the next manager, the atmosphere feels far less tense than it could have been. And while everyone is focused on the new boss, the squad itself has had its share of concerns. The injury scare involving Kobe Donovan caught a lot of people by surprise. Seeing a Celtic player leave the pitch on a stretcher is never a good sight, and supporters immediately feared the worst. The update that followed brought a bit of relief, especially since X-rays came back clear. Even though he's too sore to play right now, the hope is that the damage is limited and he can return to training soon. It is not ideal, of course, particularly with the team already short on right-back options, but at least it is not the long-term absence many initially imagined. Donovan might not have featured under O'Neill yet, especially after a difficult afternoon in his last appearance, but having him available strengthens the squad depth once he is fully fit again. Meanwhile, other stories bubbling in the background show how much goes on around the club that supporters rarely think about. Kasper Schmeichel, for example, has been living in Scotland without his family for over a year. That is the kind of sacrifice many do not consider when talking about footballers. Yes, they are well paid and living out the dream of millions, but being away from your wife and kids for such a long time is tough, no matter how experienced or successful you are. And with his contract running down, it is only natural to wonder if this situation will play into his decision about staying beyond the end of the season. You get the feeling that most fans would not be shocked if this were his final year. He has been a good presence for the team, steady and professional, but everything points to change coming in the summer. Even so, tonight he is on the opposite side, with Scotland facing Denmark in a massive international match. For once, the international break feels genuinely exciting, with a chance to reach the World Cup on the line. Supporters all over the country are buzzing, talking about whether they will be heading to the stadium or watching from home, and there is that familiar mix of hope and nerves anytime Scotland find themselves on the brink of something big. Some Celtic fans joke about not loving the international break, but even the skeptics admit this one is different. A win tonight could write a moment that people talk about for years. And while everyone wants Scotland to get through, they also want all Celtic players to return unscathed. The anxiety is real whenever someone goes into a heavy challenge or lands awkwardly, because the last thing the club needs right now is more injuries on top of everything else. And with the AGM just around the corner, the atmosphere surrounding the club is only becoming more intense. Every year, folk hype up the event as though it is going to deliver answers to every mystery, and every year it tends to fall short of those expectations. But this time there is a different tone. Supporters are more vocal, more frustrated, and far less willing to accept the usual and polished responses that avoid saying much at all. The silence around key decisions these past months has built up a lot of pressure, and you can feel that many are ready to confront the issues that have been hanging over the club. Whether anything truly changes because of it is another story altogether, but at least the questions will finally be asked in a room where the board cannot simply ignore them. The Celtic Trust sharing their voting intentions has only added more fuel to the fire. Seeing them openly oppose the reappointment of so many board members reflects a frustration that has been brewing across the support for quite some time. When you read their reasoning, it is hard not to understand why so many feel the current leadership structure is outdated and disconnected from what the club needs. Decisions have felt slow, communication even slower, and when you have a fan base as passionate and demanding as this one, silence rarely goes down well. People want direction, they want ambition, and they want to feel like Celtic is pushing forward rather than standing still. There is also the sense of disconnect when key figures rarely appear publicly. When you have a chief executive who hardly speaks, a chairman who is nowhere to be seen, and an owner who has not attended an AGM for nearly 2 decades, supporters naturally start to wonder how much genuine engagement exists at the top. And when those same individuals are involved in massive club decisions, it becomes hard for people to believe the structure is working in the way it should. That is why some of the resolutions introduced for discussion, even the ones that may not pass, feel important. They at least force conversations that many inside the club would prefer not to have. What stands out most is the level of unity among supporters this time around. Different groups, different voices, yet a lot of shared concerns. Everyone acknowledges the importance of financial stability. Everyone appreciates the work that ensures the club remains strong off the pitch, but they also want clarity about the long-term vision. Celtic cannot rely forever on simply being the biggest club in Scotland. Supporters want progress in Europe, ambition in recruitment, and a leadership group that communicates rather than hides behind carefully prepared statements with no names attached. And while all of this political noise circles around the club, the football itself keeps moving forward. O'Neill's presence around the training ground continues to bring a sense of reassurance. Players seem relaxed, focused, and determined to get results regardless of the uncertainty around the manager. It is easy to forget how quickly things can unravel when a team goes through a transition like this. A few poor performances, a couple of bad results, and everything can get magnified. But instead, training sessions reportedly feel organized, calm, and filled with purpose, something that reflects well on the experience O'Neill brings. Supporters are already imagining what the new manager might do with the squad. There is talk about which players might thrive, which positions need strengthening, and how the style of play might evolve. Yet the truth is that right now the team simply needs to collect points, avoid injuries, and keep the confidence high until the formal appointment finally arrives. The Europa League fixture looming after the weekend adds another layer of importance. Travelling abroad without clear leadership could have been a disaster, but the players seem committed to pushing through, giving everything until the new era officially begins. Even off the pitch, small stories continue to pop up that keep supporters engaged. Discussions about squad depth, contract situations, and younger players coming through the academy never really stop. There is hope that the team can come through this period stronger, that the difficulties of the past month will sharpen focus rather than weaken it, and with so many away fixtures ahead, the unity and patience from supporters will be tested. Celtic fans have never struggled to voice their frustrations, but they have also never struggled to back their team when it matters. That will be crucial in the days ahead. As we move closer to Saturday night's match, folk are wondering how the team will line up, how sharp the returning internationals will be, and whether the energy from the home crowd might be missed during this tough stretch on the road. And yet there is also excitement because football never truly slows down. Even during uncertainty, the anticipation before a match brings everyone together. You can feel the momentum building with each passing day, and that is something this club thrives on. The discussion around the next permanent manager will continue until the official announcement drops, and no matter when it does, reactions across the fan base will be immediate and intense. Some will be thrilled, some cautious, and some skeptical, as always happens at Celtic. But once the whistle blows and the players step onto the pitch, it becomes about results, performances, and the badge on the shirt. Celtic supporters demand effort, pride, and ambition, and as long as the team delivers that, they will have the fans behind them every step of the way. With all the moving pieces right now, it feels like we are standing at the edge of a turning point. A new manager incoming, an AGM stirring discussion, international fixtures adding tension and injuries creating worry. Yet through it all, the club keeps moving. Celtic never stays quiet for long, and the next chapter is already taking form behind the curtain, even if we cannot see it clearly yet. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers drift in Rouen, the terraces at Parkhead, hey grown to a full-blown clamour as the green and white faithful find themselves caught up in what many are already calling the boldest move in Celtic's modern era. Word is circulating that the Hoops are on the brink of landing Che Adams in what insiders are dubbing the grandest, most wallet-shaken transfer ever to roll through the club's doors. Nobody's officially confirmed it, mind you. But the rumour mill in Glasgow's East End has never rattled this loudly without guide reason. Folk close to the chatter say the board has been working in deep secrecy, pushing through negotiations so tightly guarded that even seasoned reporters are only picking up scraps from late-night phone murmurs and half-seen airport sightings. Adams, well kent for his pace, power, and that knack for bursting through backlines like a bull through a market stall, is the sort forward the support had been begging for, someone who can add a bit of thunder tie the front line. And if the whispers are true, Celtic might finally be ready to guide the man, a platform worthy o' his stride. The city itself feels charged, as if the very cobblestones are buzzing with speculation. In pubs frae Trongate to Tollcross, supporters lean in close hour pints, swearing blind that their cousin's pal's neighbour saw Adam's agent slipping into a quiet meeting somewhere near the Clyde. Others claim the dressing room's already bracing for a shake-up, while players gaining the sort of coy smiles that suggest they ken more than they're letting on. A move o' this scale widna just be a signing. It would signal intent, big, bold, unmistakable intent, the kind that echoes through Europe and reminds every club watching the Celtic arena content to merely take part, and they're gearing up to make themselves impossible to ignore. And until someone steps forward to stamp the truth on it, the rumour rolls on, gathering speed like a runaway train on the Glasgow-Edinburgh line, pulling the whole footballing world along for the ride. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.